Hello and welcome to episode 8 in our survival series. In the last episode we set up our node for stone, so we can mine stone and put it in our inventory. However, it kind of looks kind of boring with just a simple node there and then something not there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it so when it takes damage it's going to change in size and also explode in a shower of pebbles as it loses that health. So let's get started. So we are going to start off by making our object here, our node, change its size based upon its health. So we're going to go into our node and going to go into the parent class of the node. Over here we are taking the damage on the stat and we're going through here and reading what we can do with that damage over here. Now using that stat we're going to work out as a percentage what our size of our thing should be. So what I'm going to do is at the start here is I'm actually going to create another function to rescale mesh, and this rescale mesh is going to take the stat component, get its health and get the max health. And what we're doing is we were looking for a normalized range for this, so you can take the health value and do normalize to range, plug in max health here to range max, and that's going to give us a percentage of how much health we've got left remaining. Now if we've got 100%, obviously the size of this is going to be 111. And you can see this if I click on the cube asset, we've got 1, 1 and 1.5 in this particular instance to get this. In node stone the cube here is a very different shape, it's 0.15, 0.15, 0.15. So how do we actually make this occasion? We can't just set the scale because that's going to break it for each one of our different nodes, because the mesh is going to be different. So what we're doing instead in the rescale mesh is we need to first of all get hold of the base stat for the scale. So what we're going to do is on the constructor script we are going to take out our cube and we're going to get the scale of it. You can get the relative scale 3D. We're then going to take that and promote that to a variable, and we'll call this one a base scale and plug that into the constructions. And default for this will set as 1, 1, 1. Okay, but it will be overridden almost immediately. So if I go to rescale mesh now, I'm going to take my base scale and I'm going to multiply that. There we go, multiply by this float here. So if the base scale started at 1111 or 111 rather, and normalized the range was output 0.5, it would change more to 0.5. But if base scale set to 0.5 already, because we started off with a half size mesh, this would go down to 0.25 instead. And so what we're doing now is we're taking out our mesh component and we're doing set relative scale 3D. Plug in our new scale 3D, and that is our rescale mesh function done. All it's left to do is put this rescale mesh into our event for the on damage stat component. Drag that in and plug that in. So first thing we'll do is we'll just rescale the mesh. So what we're going to see here is we should hopefully see the size of this rock change as we do damage to it. Close enough to it, that is. Yeah. Go. Now you can see how I'm not getting close enough to it because it's small. So I can increase the range of my pickaxe, but the general idea is there. So we got that scaling down perfectly fine. That's all good. But what we're going to do next is we're going to make it show particle effects coming off of here. So it actually looks like chunks of it are coming out. So we're going to go into our content browser and we're going to create a visual effect. So create a new folder to store these VFX. And in here, we're going to create a new Niagara system. Click on this and create an empty system. Hit finish. And we're going to call this one NS for Niagara system. And we'll do node rock. And in here, we're going to do a very simple emitter. We're going to shoot out a few meshes out from the node. So we're going to right click, add emitter, and do empty. And we're going to go down to the render section and change it from a sprite render to a mesh render. So take enter mesh render, and you're going to delete the sprite renderer. Inside our mesh renderer, we're going to go over to the right hand side and you'll see an array option for meshes. I'm going to click this open, and over here we can now set what mesh we want to use. And I'm going to set it to the same mesh that we've got here for this, so SM Stone 15. SM Stone 15. And I've probably misspelled something. SM Stone Stones. That's what it is. 15. Now the size of this is going to be very different, obviously, because we've had to change it in the stone node anyway. So what we need to do is first of all get spawning in before we can change its size, so we can actually see it. So up here we're going to go emitter update, click on the plus here, and do spawn burst instantaneous. And what this will do is it will spawn all the particles at once in a burst, as the one is set up by default here. So I'm going to change that size now. I'm going to go to initialize particle, and in here you will see mesh attributes, and you'll see mesh scale mode. You click on this, and we're going to do a random uniform. I'm going to go between 0.01 and 0.05. Okay, so we'll see how big that is in the world in a second. So let's just save that and drag that into the world to see what kind of size we're dealing with. And I'm quite happy with this size. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, so we're going to delete that from our world and go back to what we were doing. So now we've got the size, we're happy with that. We can now mess about with how this is going to work. So I want this to spawn and shoot out at a random velocity, up and out. So I'm going to go to particle spawn, click on the plus button, and go add velocity. And then when you do this, you're going to get a little warning message, a little error. And that's just basically saying, you want to add the solve forces velocity. Just click fix issue for that, and it'll add the node for us. So on add velocity, as you can see, it's just going to go keep up, 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 and up. The minute it comes back down, we need to add gravity to it. And gravity is something that's going to happen the whole time whilst the particles are alive. So that'll go on the particle update section. Click on this, and I'm going to add gravity. And this gravity, minus 980, is a default gravity for Earth-like gravity. So to offset that gravity, we have to give it a bit more force. So we can go to add velocity, and we're going to increase the Z here to get enough of it going up and then down. So I'm going to change that from 50 to 200. Nice little bump. Let's go a bit higher. Let's try 400. Too bad. 600. And that's looking alright. Now at the moment it's just going dead straight up and down. Obviously that's not very interesting. So let's make it randomize how far away it disappears to. So if we click on the little down arrow next to our velocity, click on this, and we're going to type in random range vector. And here you can insert in the minimum and maximum for each X, Y, and Z values. Now we know that we want to go into the 600s for the Z. So we're going to do a minimum of, say, 500 and a maximum of 700 for the up and down. Now for left and right and forward and back, X and Y, we're going to put in like value. So not 500 because that's a bit too much. Let's do 100 for those two. And for, sorry, X should be minus 100. My apologies. And maximum should be positive 100. And Y should be 200. In fact, actually, no, Y should be, sorry, my bad. Basically, we need to get, I want to make it square, but I want Y to be the same. So I need to do minus 100 there and 100 there. There we go. There we go. Now it's going to shoot out a random range out of the center. If I want to increase that range, I can do. I can just increase these values. So do like minus 200 and minus 200, 200, 200. Okay. It's going to give us a random burst of that. Now, in terms of actually seeing more of these, all you can do is go to the spawn burst instantaneous and change the spawn count here from 1 to, let's say, 5. And you'll see all 5 of them come out. You see they all come out different shapes and sizes because the mesh has that random initialized particle set up here between 0.01 and 0.05. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm going to save that And next I'm going to make it so it only happens once. So I'm going to go over to the system, which is the blue node. And if you go to the bottom of this, you'll see the option for loop behavior. I'm going to change that to once, and loop duration will do for 1 second. These particles will keep on falling until they die. So last thing we're going to do is we're going to change their lifespan. So we're going to go to initialize particle on the emitter, change the lifetime here from 5 to 1. Okay. So let's take a look at that and put that into the game. So we're going to go to our node, and I'm going to go to the node parent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it as a variable to our node. This means that all the different children nodes can be set to their own Niagara system. So when we hit wood, we see wood splinters go off. In this case, when we hit stone, we can see small pebbles come off. So we're going to go to variables here and do Niagara effect. And the type for this is going to be a Niagara system. Hit compile, and we're done here. We just need to tell it to now fire off this Niagara effect when it takes damage. So we can do that on Rescale Mesh. And take out our Niagara effect and do spawn system at location. And we're going to spawn it at this actor's location. Actor location. On get actor location. There we go. And all of our settings you can leave alone. Auto destroy, auto activate. You want all that to be true. Hit compile and save that. Now if we go to our node stone, we can set that Niagara system over in our class defaults over here and choose our node rock. So with that all done, I can go into the game now and hit my rock, and there's the pebbles coming off. And if you want to adjust something like their size, we can do. There's no real biggie. We can mess about with that as much as we want. So I'm going to go in, tweak the size a little bit. We go to the uniform size and we'll do 0.002 and 0.001. Okay, so they're fairly small. Too small. They are happening. But because they are smaller, the velocity is probably happening a bit too much. So we're going to change the scale of that, velocity speed scale, to 0.6. And I'm guessing the size of it is a bit too much. They're too little now. So 0.005, 0.01. Like that. And back to game. That's looking alright. Cool. Yep, I like that a lot. Brilliant. And if you wanted the pebbles also to roll around on the floor, you can do just by adding a collision node to your emitter for that particle effect. But there we go. We've now got stone already set up for our game. And there we have it. We've got a nice looking stone node already set up with some nice Niagara effects and some scaling to indicate and feedback to the player that they are doing damage to this node. In the next episode, we're going to set up a new node for the tree. And the tree's going to act a little bit different because it's going to fall down and it's going to have some physics on it. It's going to leave a stump behind, those sort of things. So you're going to see not only the process of creating a new node, but also how to override some of its features and add extra functionality to it. You can watch the next episode right now over on patreon.com/RyanLady. You can find all my videos early before everyone else. Thank you so much to all my Patreon members and YouTube members for their continued support. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content every week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.